Hi, a quick video of my rose seedlings here in the spring of 2015, mostly for my rose breeding friends. These two flats on the end are seedlings of seed that hips that Jackie sent to me of that open pollinated Henry's cross of calocarpa and nutkana and acicularis. And so they're coming up really strong. She had also sent me some plants that I'll show you later if I get time here. This kind of cool little guy there with these really weird thorny and very glossy green leaves was a seed that my daughter rescued from the floor when I was seeding. So I have no idea what that is. These are all open pollinated foliolosa. And this next batch here, you can clearly tell the difference, also has the seed parent of foliolosa, but it was pollinated by lemon fizz. And so it's very clear that they are hybrids because they're distinctly different from the open pollinated ones. And what's very interesting about this is that a few of them have buds. There are about, there's another bud over here somewhere, there you go. About 3 out of 52 are showing juvenile bloom, which is really interesting. My specimen of foliolosa was not the same as Paul Barden's, which has the dark foliage and also throws some repeaters. I can't remember where I got it, but somewhere like Rogue Valley, I can't remember. But it's a light pink. And so it's really surprising that there are some repeat bloomers in that batch. Other foliolosa crosses, these guys here are crossed with an open pollinated seedling of rugosa number 3, and they look about like what you'd expect. Back here we did some foliolosa crossed with Virginiana and Carolina. Virginiana on the left and Carolina on the right. Here's foliolosa X grouse. And some of them make me wonder if I didn't get them mixed up with Commander Gillette somehow, but I don't see much grouse in there. And then these are all foliolosa X Commander Gillette. So I'd have to assume that they'll be triploids and maybe there'll be sterility issues, but I'm excited about some of them that are quite thornless. And it'll be interesting to see how they turn out. Belle Poitevine X Commander Gillette. They're doing okay, but as far as a rugosa X Commander Gillette cross, these over here are rugosa number 3 X Commander Gillette, and they're doing wonderfully. There's a few in here that are basically thornless, and yet they still have somewhat of that rugosa character. So, hey, why not try for a rugosa, a thornless rugosa? If I could back cross these with rugosa number 3 again, some of the thornless ones maybe, and get some of the best rugosa characteristics in a thornless plant, that would be kind of cool. These are all rugosa number 3 X grouse, and as you can see, they're smaller. So I'm assuming that rugosa number 3 is actually a diploid, and I don't know, maybe those extra chromosomes from Commander Gillette make those have more vigor. But these are doing okay, and it'll be interesting to see what they turn out to be. Grouse, of course, is a Witcherana hybrid. A few, these large ones here, that's Plum Perfect, which is a Cortez rose crossed with a Rosa Carolina, and you get some extreme vigor with them, and they're obviously hybrids because they're not blooming. So that's kind of fun. I had to repeat the cross of, oh no, Love and Peace XJ5. Well, it's boring. Nitta. Got a few Rosa nitta seedlings crossed with Commander Gillette here. Rugosa number 3 X Petite Pink. And these in the back, I think they got leached out from the rain and that's why they're yellowing. But I saw a bud. So it's fun to get juvenile bloom on one of those. It'll be interesting to see what they turn out to be. I'm going to skip over those. L83. A lot of my L83 seedlings died, and I think I over-fertilized them, or maybe they were particularly sensitive. But I have a few that are crossed. For instance, this is Virginiana here, and L83X Rosa Virginiana again here. I love the vigor on that one. It'll be really fun to see how that turns out. These guys, this is a rugosa, a seedling of rugosa number 3 crossed with Carolina, Rosa Carolina. And we're getting good vigor there. It'll be fun to see what that turns out to be. That same seedling crossed with Commander Gillette on the left here. Actually, most of that flat. There's some crossed with grouse. Yellow Brick Road X Prairie Peace. Not too exciting. Yellow Brick Road X Acicularis 5. Rosa Acicularis. And I have to assume that these rebloomers are accidental self-pollinations, which is very possible the way I do it. Tuscany Superb X Persian Yellow. If this ends up being a hybrid, it's kind of cool, but I don't see much signs of hybridity. So I have to be pessimistic and think that it's a self, but I still want to try and repeat that cross. Lemon Fizz X Grouse. If they're not going to be a rebloomer, they're worthless to me. Out of the Blue X Rosa Carolina. That's this guy that goes way up out of the camera range. So you know it's a real hybrid when they're showing that vigor and thorns, because Out of the Blue is thornless and no blooming. And on this one, on the left half of this flat over here, are Midnight Blue X Will Alderman, which is a rugosa hybrid. And a lot of these appear to be hybrids because they're a lot thornier than Midnight Blue is. So that's kind of interesting. They're bound to be triploids, and hopefully they'll be hardy enough to survive. This beautiful guy back here was labeled as Midnight Blue X Persian Yellow, but there's no way. It's totally thornless, and it's blooming, both of these. So they must be Midnight Blue selves. I might just keep them around for the fun of it. Some high voltage X Commander Gillette, and we're getting a few blossoms on that. Light pink as to be expected. Prairie Joy X Fedchenkoana. And I guess I wanted to show you, these are some of that calocarpa nutkana acicularis hybrid that Jackie sent me the plants of. And for some reason I just love the vigor and sturdiness of these. I let them wilt till they looked dead last fall, and then just put them in cold storage, and then they all came back this spring. There's another one here. So that's kind of cool. These are open pollinated seedlings of Lena, and open pollinating seedlings F2s of a thornless seedling of Lena. And these blooming ones here, I'm going to kind of skip over because they're mostly not hardy. Thought I had something else interesting to show you. This is the seed parent of these here was Prairie Joy X Rainbow Knockout, and then I crossed it with Commander Gillette. So you can see that Commander Gillette type of foliage, and that one's not a bloomer, but there are a few that are bloomers. So, and one of them's kind of thornless, so see how that goes. Yellow Brick Road X Persian Yellow. I have quite a few of these, and it'll be kind of fun. Some are, you know, not blooming, so seem to be hybrids, not blooming, very thorny. I would have to assume that the blooming ones are self-pollinations, but it's always fun to hope for some sort of aberration. Like this guy has a really shiny foliage and he's blooming. But we'll have to see. Likewise, this is Cal Poly pollinated with First Impression X Rosa Virginiana seedling that happened to bloom last year, and they certainly do show a lot of vigor. Unfortunately, very few are blooming, if any. This is one down here that I have to assume would be a self, because Cal Poly does that sometimes. So anyways, thanks for listening.